Is rimfire any good for self-defense? Today what I have is some CCI ammunition, 22 long rifle versus 22 Magnum. I'm going to do 22 long rifle in a semi-automatic pistol and a 22 Magnum in our revolver, because I feel like that's really the best way to test these type of cartridges. You know, typically a 22 mag is more of a revolver cartridge, but when we're talking about 22 long rifle, you know, I like to have more capacity, so I feel like that's kind of a better semi-auto choice. So what we have today for our 22 long rifle is our Stingers, CCI Stingers. I only got the 50 round box, so it's not the 100 pack Stangers, but it's the same thing. And what we have here for our 22 Magnum is our Maxi Mag TNT. And the reason why I got these is because the Stingers are 32 grain, and this is the closest weight I could get in a 22 mag, and CCI is 30 grain. So this is 32 grain rated at 1640 feet per second through a rifle. This is a 30 grain rated at 2200 feet per second through a rifle. But I don't know what we're going to get in handguns here, but you know, for a very long time before Federal Punch came out in 22 LR, 22 Stinger was always the go-to when people would say, you know, you're going to carry a 22 for self-defense, you're going to need to carry that Stinger. I think most of that is just because with Stingers, with a shorter bullet, you have a little more powder, you get a little bit more energy than typical, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to really perform better terminally with terminal ballistics. So we have our 4.1 inch Taurus TX22 versus our 3 inch Ruger LCRX. The reason why I used 4.1 versus 3 inch, same size overall for the firearms, and we have almost exactly the same amount of barrel travel because 3 inch revolver. We're talking a semi-auto that does not include the chamber. So if a 22 LR is 1 inch in length, a 4.1 inch would be about 3.1 inch barrel travel, 3 inch, and a little bit here in the end of the cylinder. Yeah, about the same amount of barrel travel. So we're going to go through the chronograph, see what kind of velocity and accuracy we get at the same time. Then I'm going to do my 10% clear ballistic test. So we're just going to go into plain 10% clear ballistics, see what the best potential of those cartridges are. And after that, I'm going to do more of a real world simulation where I put on 4 layers of denim up on the front of this first 3 inches that represents our pectoral muscle. And by the way, clear ballistics is roughly half as dense as human flesh, so 3 inches for a pectoral muscle is really like trying to simulate 1.5 inches of pectoral muscle in an actual person. And after 3 inches of our pectoral muscle simulation, we'll have a 1/4 inch medium density fiberboard to represent hitting ribs or sternum. That's like plywood but very compressed, so it's tough like bone. And after that, I am going to shoot up my steel to see what kind of practical overall accuracy and shootability I can get with these. So let's get started with this test. All right, I'm about 5 yards from the target, 4 yards from the chronograph. Let's see what we get with our 22 long rifle through our Taurus 4.1 inch barrels rated at 1640 feet per second, but that's through a rifle. Let's see what we get in our little Taurus here. I'll read on that one. 1126, 1184, 1169, 1156. I'll read. Having a little bit of chronograph lighting issues. It might be from the smoke. Let me back up a couple feet here. 1156, 1159, 1163. All right, so I just took a few extra rounds just, you know, because they are 22, it's easy to do. So a little bit of lighting issues out here in the woods today. I sometimes get a lot of people going on and on for like paragraphs about what I need to do with my chronograph. A lot of times I'll go like several months without getting a single error read, but then the lighting conditions are such with the shadowing and all that that I come out on certain days and it just doesn't want to read. So I'm going to try to be as accurate as possible with these 22 mags, though. Hopefully I can get a read. Yeah, having one of those days. 1495. Wow, that's a big variance. 1354. 1471. Alright, so I'm going to load up some more because I want to make sure that I get a very good average on that. And if you ever wondered about my speed loaders, the basic Speed Bees, it's not the best carry loader because the rounds can fall out pretty easily. But it's a very good range loader. So I like to have that for out here plinking on the range. We'll keep going, see if I can get some more. Yeah, a little bit of lighting issues here still. So I'm just gonna have to take those. Yeah, that's one of those weird things. A lot of times, even 22 Magnum, it starts to be more of an issue. Like I could go back with a 22 LR, maybe get a read. Maybe not. It's just terrible, terrible lighting conditions today. So please don't tell me everything I need to do, because I'll go 3 months in a row without a single read, and I'll have a day like this, and then the comments light up, and it's like really annoying. So let's hit our ballistic cell block and see what we get with these, see how they compare. All right, we're just gonna do our best potential here. So let's see what we get here with our 22 long rifle and the plain gel. All right, let's hit that with our 22 Magnum. Let's go take a look. All right, so there's definitely a huge difference there, and I don't know if you can see this here, but with our 22 mag, there's a lot more disruption in that first 3 inches with all that extra velocity. So that limited the penetration, probably from a higher amount of expansion. It does look like we got expansion with that. So with our 22 LR, it does appear that we have some good expansion with that, at least from this angle. I could be seeing it completely wrong. It could just be a straightforward bullet. It's hard to tell. In fact, I don't think it expanded. It just kind of looked like that at first. But what we see here is a penetration of about 11¼ inches, a little bit subpar. Now with our 22 mag, that's even more subpar, but we got an actual expansion. We're at about 9½ inches. So I don't take these particular straight gel tests at face value. I just like to look at, see how those bullets are meant to perform. And then I like to do more real world. So we'll put on our denim and we'll put on our MDF. That sometimes lowers the amount of expansion and shows you more what it would actually do in a mammalian target. So let's try that. All right, let's hit it through our 4 layers of denim and our 1/4 inch medium density fiber board 22 LR. All right, let's hit that with our 22 mag now. Let's go take a look. All right, so I'm going to take these results. I'm not going to shoot again because everything I'm seeing here looks about right for the type of velocity and bullet weight that we're working with here. I would not expect anything different than what I'm seeing here if I shot it again. Because what we're seeing here, yeah, we're seeing that the 22 mag opened up. You know, you're not going to see anything greater than that if I shoot it again. So we were definitely hitting with very high velocity. With our 22 LR, not so much. So what it looks like I'm seeing here, it almost looks like the bullet's backwards, maybe with the 22 LR. I'm not really sure. I do see deformation, but I'm not sure if it's the front or the back of that bullet, if it, you know, if it tumbled first. But what I am seeing here is definitely a lack of penetration of about 8¼ inches. Our 22 Magnum is only at about 4¾ I'm seeing this dead on exactly right. I know that my camera here skews it so it'll actually look like the bullet is up here, but the bullet is, you know, where my finger is from, you know, just a vertical lens or horizontal lens distortion. So very, very subpar on both accounts of these. So I don't know about stingers for self-defense, because I tested some target ammo and that did fine. That hit your average, 12 inches with a 40 grain round nose mini mag. So just so you can get a little expansion and maybe a little more energy, I'm not sure if that's really worth it for what I'm seeing there. And this is vastly different with our 22 mag, because like a 22 mag semi-jacketed hollow point will actually smush the front and penetrate way up mid second block, but this is completely different. So it looks like what you really want to get with something like the 22 mag is probably more in the 40 grain, maybe I would say 35, 36 grain. That would perform probably better, but they don't even come in that. So enough talk with this. Let me shoot the steel and see what kind of controllability I can get with these. All right, so here's a close-up look at our bullets pulled from our plain, best potential plain gel shot. This is what we got here with our CCI Stinger. It just kind of bent that bullet a little bit, so that means it started to tumble just a little bit as soon as it hit that gel. Kind of deformed it a little bit, but no expansion. Our 22 mag has very big expansion. And what's interesting with this is our 22 mag through our MDF actually looks more like a typical bullet through a plain gel, where it just kind of looks like a speared gold dot. It's expanded well. You see petals, controlled expansions, where this is just kind of ripped apart. But they both expanded probably about the same size. Now, here's a big difference. When we add that MDF rib simulation, that bullet kind of did the same thing. It curved to one angle, but because it's hitting that hard surface, because 22 LR bullets are made almost of pure lead there and just copper plated, it really flattened and mangled it, as where with our plain gel shot, it's not so flat. So that's your close-up look of those bullets. All right, so I changed up my measurements a little bit. I was always doing 12 yards. Now I'm going to do 10 yards from the muzzle. 10 yards from the target is right here. I measured it out. So my muzzle is going to be 10 yards from the steel. And that's our minimum that the manufacturer suggests with something like this. So what I want to do is I just want to see how these will shoot. 22 mag. Let me see how these do for me. Yeah, they're definitely a different point of impact from where I'm aiming. Shoot a little bit low, so let's see what I can do with our 22 LR with that same type of thing. Missed that. So I could work on that a little bit and do a lot better, but what we're seeing there is, yeah, that does pretty well. Missed a couple of those headshots, but that was me just going a little bit too fast. So I would say overall that's pretty good. Let me back up to 25 yards, see how they shoot at that distance. All right, 25 yards from the target. I think my sights just need adjusting with this 22 mag. I think it is turned all the way down low. I don't have a screwdriver with me, and they do look like they're impacting low. So let me just fire slowly, see where these hit. Alright, so yeah, that first shot must have just been a fluke because I was holding aim where that first impact was. So I definitely need to raise these sights up. One thing I noticed about this ammo is it's actually very clean shooting ammo. My gun, I had about 50 rounds through it before I started this video, and there was actually slightly amount of crud in there. And since I've been shooting this ammo, it's cleaned the gun. It's very interesting. It's very clean now. So 22 LR. Let's see where these hit. First shot's probably just a fluke again, just because it does seem like that shot very high on that first shot, but then the next shot was lower. So let me keep going here. So that shoots, well, some of them were drifting a little bit far to the left for me, but a lot of them were center. Not too bad. Let me back it up to, I want to do 40 yards, kind of see how these shoot. All right, I'm about 40 yards from the target, about 40, 41-ish. So let's see how I can do here with our 22 mag center mass. All right, not the best group. Find my reload here. Let's sling some more. So it's kind of hard for me to hit very well at distance. This particular load. They are impacting low again. All right, so I can see how far down they are dropping, so why not try for a headshot? Since I have to aim over the target probably a good 8 inches. Just for fun here. Nope. Yeah. Hard to do that when I have to try to compensate my holds there. So 22 LR, let's see how this does. It's easy to get away, so it does look like, other than me pulling a few, they are impacting pretty much point of aim. So let me go for a headshot at 40 yards. I don't know if I can do this, but let me try for fun. Yes, so I did that in the last shot. And again, this pistol continues to be very reliable. I've not had a single malfunction in it after shooting a bunch of ammo through it. So what I want to say here is that 22 mag, it's a good 22 mag. I mean, it shoots really well. It's a good plinking round. You know, 22 mag costs about the same for hollow point defensive ammo as it does for target ammo. Just like 22 long rifle is generally that way, except for stuff like Stingers are a little bit more. But I'm gonna say for target ammo, I think that 22 mag is a pretty good choice. It's very clean shooting, but when you look at our ballistic performance, it underpenetrated, it expanded a little bit too much. And part of that is because being a 30 grain bullet, when you expand, now you have a very big expanded bullet that has almost no momentum because it's only 30 grains. So even if you have good energy, what's going to happen is the energy is going to be directed into blowing that hollow point apart even more and start to fragment if you were to push it more, rather than the momentum pushing it deeper. With our 22 LR, we had more controlled deformation, mushrooming, expansion, whatever happened in that. So with that, it's actually a better overall choice. And I'm going to say, honestly, when we look at, you know, the ballistic performance compared with the accuracy, compared with the shootability, I'm going to say, honestly, with this ammo, I'm going to say the 22 LR Stinger is definitely better than a light for caliber 22 mag, because you got a lot of rounds on target. Each one's going to penetrate a little bit deeper, easier to shoot, all of that. So I would say in this test, the overall view, and yeah, our ballistic performance, actually our ballistic performance, the 22 also won. But even if the 22 mag won or did better, I would still say that the 22 long rifle in this example is a little bit better, just because, you know, it's definitely a lot more shootable. Now, if I had a 22 mag ammo that actually expanded and penetrated, you know, 15, 16, 18 inches, as where this was hitting 12 inches, then I would say that the terminal ballistic performance outweighed whatever little extra recoil and flash there was. But in this example, it didn't. So I would say our 22's kind of the better choice. And comparing light for caliber, rimfire, however, I still think a little bit heavier bullet is probably a better idea. So that's what you get today. So as always, comment, share, and like, and thanks for watching.